All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to RafiChowdhury.com, the place, our go-to place for all things marketing, all things entrepreneurship, all things personal branding. And today I want to welcome you guys again to join this Facebook Live. As you guys might have already known, we've been doing plenty of these live videos, really bringing you guys industry experts and sharing knowledge directly from them on the things that they're experts on. And with that being said, today we have Mark Herre. Herre? Mark, how do you pronounce your name exactly? I never asked you.
Harry. What that? Harry.
Mark Herre. Mark Herre, who runs a very, very interesting company called SEOgame.com, where he does SEO for SEOs, which I find very, very amusing, Mark. So, Mark, without further ado, go ahead and introduce yourself to those of you guys, maybe like 2 or 3 people that don't know who you are yet. And let's dig deep in.
Thanks, Rafi, and I appreciate your time. SEO Game's been around since 1996.
Yep.
And I've been focusing with anyone with a website. Back in the day, anybody who needed any kind of digital service. But more importantly, in the last 12 years, I've taken it to a different level where I've only wanted to work with SEO agencies, digital marketers. And so that's what you'll hear from me today, is just talk to you about what it is that gets me excited every day, talking to SEO companies who need a little bit of boost in their game. And that's hence my name, SEO Game.
All right, that's a good deal. So first, let me ask you, how'd you get started, Mark? You started in 1996. I mean, at that point, I was still like playing Road Rash on my computer and some other like little computer games. Never even heard of the internet. So how did you begin so early?
So SEO started back even before I even got around to jumping into that area where people with websites, because websites were brand new. I happened to be in an area by the Grand Canyon, by Las Vegas, St. George, Utah, and it was exploding over there. I had so many I had like 50 hotels. I had all the tourism, and at that early age, I had over 200 websites I was managing in just like, because there was nowhere else to go. So I was a pioneer in this industry. Huge demand for people who could take their website and put it on the first page of a search engine. Now, we didn't even have Google. This is pre-Google. I like to call it when Yahoo was the list. It pretty much was. Everybody wanted to be on the top of the list of Yahoo.
Okay.
800-pound gorilla. So it was a little different then. When you had 10 hotel companies calling you up in 1 week saying, "Hey, Mark, I thought I told you I got to be number one in InfoSeek and Excite and Lycos and these search engines that are, gone away with like the dodo bird." I could type in and fix it a little bit, and then sure enough, on the same phone call, I could show a number one ranking in one of those search engines, and they go, "Good. Remember, don't let those SOB Comfort Inn hotel get ahead of me for St. George hotels." And then soon enough, Comfort Inn would call me on the phone and say, "Hey, what did I tell you? You can't get me on the first page of Google anymore? Do I need to hire someone else?" I knew they were bluffing because they couldn't go to anyone else. So I put them, it was just back and forth like that, little wars, little search engine wars.
Right.
But that was in the day. Now today it's totally changed, as you know.
Yeah, it has. It has changed quite a bit. And I didn't start in SEO that early. In 1996, I was still learning how to walk. But I do know that things were a little different back in the day, like you were saying. Like when Google came around, I know people were doing all sorts of weird tricks. Like they would put take all their keywords, they'll stuff it in there, they'll like color it all the same color as the background, and then all of a sudden their stuff would be on page 1. Now, did these tricks actually work back then? Did you actually implement some of these, what we today call black hat and gray hat tactics back in the day? And did they actually work?
Well, they weren't called any black hat or white hat tricks back then. Back then it was, get me on as many search engines as possible. There was this abundance mentality. Back then, if you were a business owner, you would be hit up by, get on 50 search engines. And it was all a big numbers game, even though there weren't 50 search engines. So it was a different game. Now we just have Google, right? And so with Google, and we have Google, and we have YouTube, which is owned by Google, and then we have Bing. So it just really never dawned on me that it was black hat. Although, if you knew how to IP spoof and do a little trickery things, that was the secret. And if you could put that on your resume, recruiters were calling you all over the place because they would go, oh, we need you in Denver. Oh, we need you in San Francisco. Can you come? And it was pretty crazy. You were on high demand back then. So I moved to those places, Denver and San Francisco, and moved my little family around. And it got all, fun until I said, no, I want to go back to Utah where I'm at right now. So right now I'm running an SEO game since the .com bubble. And that's where I'm going to stay here and retire. I do a one trick right now. I deliver ranks. I do rank delivery for SEO companies. And people say, well, how can you do that? Are you using black hat techniques? So today you would still hear the same thing that people would say back when, Google became the dominant search engine, because I think once Google became the dominant search engine, everybody started talking about black hat, white hat. So if that explains.
Yeah, that does. So let's talk a little bit about the progression of SEO, back from 1996 and through the 2000s, where the .com boom just happened. And then to today in 2018. So I'm sure most of the audience is pretty aware, some of these things just don't work anymore, right? They just don't work. So Mark, if I were to ask you, me being a more, I guess, a newer generation type of SEO player, I started back in 2012 or 13 maybe, I think. And at that time, some of these things still worked quite well, like directory submissions. There's a lot of stuff like local SEO wise, or Google local business page. If you could rank that, you get a ton of traffic, local traffic. And even ranking for Google, in articles in Google, was more about the technical aspects than it was about the actual content and how valuable that was for people. Now, I know these things don't work today. So if you're a small business owner and you want high quality evergreen traffic and you don't want to give all your money away to Facebook, can you still do that? Do you think SEO is totally dead and that Facebook is completely taking it over? Or do you think that this is a game that we can still play? And if so, what's the right way to play it?
Right. Well, I definitely think SEO is still a place to help businesses get to the first page of Google, because as long as there is a first page and there's those covetous blue links, green or blue, depending on what shade you might have on your Google first page settings, it's critical. Today has been a very intense day. I can't even tell you how many proposals I've done. They all want their trophy keywords on the first page of Google. They all want to be found, and they look to somebody to hire that will do the job. And I've kind of redefined SEO more in since about 2012, 2013. Once I realized what the definition of search engine optimization is to the client and the person who hires us, they just want the job to be done, and it stands for get me there. I can't think of a better definition. So if, Rafi, you owned a website, you were Joe the plumber in Memphis, Tennessee, wouldn't you want your top keywords, and it's getting into air conditioning season, right? And you're a plumber and you do air conditioning, you've already done really well for your heating and your heating and heating repair and heating service keywords, but now you're moving into the spring season. You have empirical data or empirical facts that tell you these people are going to start calling and searching out the words air conditioning repair, air conditioning service, HVAC and heating and air, and all these kinds of keywords, because they need to hire you. Now, if you're not on the top 3, which is the map listing, and you don't have any of those blue, covetous, green and blue links below it, And you know there's more than 10 or 15 heating and air guys in Memphis, Tennessee. Mm-hmm. You're just not going to get the lion's share and the bulk traffic. So forget about Facebook display ads. What you need as the owner of your company who has a problem, that is, you're not being found. You're going to have to hire somebody who puts their money where their mouth is. And you want to have that confidence going in with your vendor, whoever it is, that will get you there. So that's why I've redefined SEO as get me there. Now, you could hire me and I could do that job, but I want you to feel confident that you're going to go into a relationship with me knowing that the job will get done. And so wouldn't you want somebody who could put that almost into a 30-day trial or a guarantee? I don't like using the word guarantee, but you definitely want to work with somebody, because if you've been a plumber for the last 30 years, you might already have done this. This might not be your first rodeo in hiring a thing, and you've been burned before. So what's going to make this decision, hiring somebody, because heating, air conditioning keywords are coming up, because in April and May, that's your busiest season.
Yep.
What if you're not still being found by March, April, and May, when all the other heating and air conditioning guys are getting all the jobs, and you're still going, yeah, but Mr. SEO company XYZ, I thought you told me I could be number one, and they still haven't gotten you there, right? You don't want to do that over again. So you have to make good decisions when you hire somebody for SEO.
Okay.
So that's what I would.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes good sense. How do you do it, Mark? Like, what is your strategy? Like, let's just say you get on a new guy, and like a Joe the plumber from Memphis, Tennessee, right? Joe the plumber knows that he's got like John Smith and all these other guys that are competing for the same things. He's a small local business, and he doesn't understand Facebook ads. He doesn't understand funnels. He doesn't understand any of that. He just wants to be the top, result on Google when someone types in plumbing Memphis. So if he's right now on page 2, somewhere on page 3, or nowhere really, right? What would you do to bring him to the top, and how long would that take? How do you do that?
Well, it begins with the pre-launch strategy.
Okay.
Joe the plumber in Memphis, he might be different than, Bill the plumber, right? And Bill the plumber and Joe the plumber might be the same owners of an HVAC company or a plumbing company. But here's the dirty little secret. Between Joe and Bill the plumber, one has drive and one doesn't. Drive is the weather. Bill the plumber may think that he can just hire somebody and pour in a lot of money, and think that he's just by spending thousands of dollars might get the results just because he spends more money. Where Joe the plumber has drive that he really wants to take the time to understand what's going to happen. And it's like building a bridge. If you were to build a bridge, you have a river that flows through it. If you can imagine one bank and another bank, 2 banks. Now, if you had both banks, somewhere along in the middle is where the owner and the digital marketer have to come together. And I like to call the middle the keystone, right? The middle of it. And that is the Google My Business listing. Joe the plumber and Bill the plumber might have 2 different cultures and mindsets. If I were to work with Joe the plumber and he has this big drive behind getting Google reviews, or maybe because not all reviews are equal, and he wants to know everything pre-launch, day of launch, 10 days after launch, and then 30 days after into a campaign, everything that's going on, and he wants to be an active participant in it. Yeah. Joe the plumber is going to win every time. Bill the plumber says, no, I just want to hire somebody and spend thousands of dollars and let them do all the work. I don't care what they're going to do. He's going to get weak results every time. I like to take on clients that have drive. They will be active participants in the SEO link building and the website content and the fixes that need to be, you can't work on a website without links. if you're going to do SEO, you have to have link building. And if you're going to work on a website, you also have to do content. And you have to do it so it's at the same time making a difference with Google's rankings. And so that you can prove that the work that you get done is going to make a difference within. And if you had all the stars in a row and aligned properly, and you have all your eggs and ready to go, and you're ready to make this website make a big difference, Google's going to react within 3 to 4 days. It's not going to take long to get first page rankings. If you were to get everything in order before you start, and then you get the campaign going, and you have a client that has drive, and he's going, hey, why am I not on the first page of Google? I tell my clients, get ready for the ride, because if you do it right, Google's going to reward you. Now, it's not a secret sauce when you do SEO. When you do link building, you're doing citations for a local company. When you're doing link building, you're doing Web 2.0 links and you're creating profiles. When you're doing directory listings, some directory listings are still valid, but then there's a whole bunch of transparency that has to be displayed to the customer, because transparency is key. And what goes along with transparency is the word transferability. So you have transparency, and then you transfer the work over to the client so that they feel that they're in control. Once they feel that they're in control and they've been delivered all their usernames and passwords, and you're not doing anything that's like shenanigans, anything with private blog networks. Don't do private blog networks. Rented or buy traffic, all those things don't work, and just buying links don't work. You're right, they don't work today. But if you're doing it properly and you're building your link building strategy that's in alignment with your content changes, your fixes, your schema, and that you're also doing it with the Google My Business Manager. Sorry about that.
No worries.
If you're also focusing on the Google My Business Managing, website, the profile, the GMB, you can get rankings in 3 to 4 days. And I challenge anybody with a website who wants and deserves to be on the first page of Google to try out the 30-day trial that I have been doing for the last 12 years. Is I put my money where my mouth is and give everybody with a website the chance to get to the first page of Google, as long as I'm capable of, and they have drive of seeing that website on the first page of Google. They drive me to get to the first page. And so that's the model that helps digital marketers make the decision when they send me their Joe the plumber. Okay. I do SEO for SEO companies, and so that leads into the model of working on websites. Hey, somebody just came in. I'm on the line. my daughter came in and saw her high school buddy here. But anyway, that's basically the excitement I have, is putting websites on the first page of Google that deserve to be on the first page.
Fair enough. That's a good way to look at it. So let's understand this a little bit more, because this is kind of intriguing how you're presenting. So you work with SEO companies, and for example, let's just say I do own an SEO company, and I'm not as active with it anymore, but it's called Chowdhury's Digital. So I work with local businesses like that. So let's just say Joe the plumber comes to me, right? Because they trust somebody in Memphis and they don't want to work with anybody outside of Memphis. But I don't have time for SEO. I don't do that anymore. I focus mostly on Facebook ads, different things. So I would go and reach out to Mark, and I would say, hey, Mark, I've got Joe the plumber. He has a monthly budget of what I think is maybe $1,000 a month, plus or minus. And what can you do for Joe the plumber? So I would send to this person. So what you would do with Joe is, you're saying that you would give him a 30-day trial where you basically handpick keywords that he thinks is the most important for his business, that's getting traffic, and you're going to rank him for those keywords. And if you can't do it, then you give him his money back after 30 days. Is that what you're saying?
Well, it's a little different than that. Since I'm working for you and you're the SEO company and you have a relationship with Joe the plumber,
yep,
I would make sure that the top keywords are selected And that's the specialty of being able to pick the best keywords. You might have a different, a keyword or two that's different from my list, but I would be going after the stars. We got to get the best keywords. We got to honey up this pot. We got to make sure that the top keywords are represented. Put it in the system so you have 24/7 access to look at the keywords, agree on it, and say, go. Now, if I had access to the website and your permission when I send you the fixes, because a lot of times as a digital marketer, you want to be actively involved in the process of, maybe making changes. Maybe you don't want me to have access to the website. I just recommend that you make the changes within a 48-hour period. Within that time frame, and I was a Google My Business Manager, the work that I do is based on your judgment. You are the judge and the jury to decide whether or not I accomplished my goal. So expectations are necessary. So in order for me to be transparent about the whole job, I would have to pre-launch, identify all the top keywords, and then with you explain to you all the link building that would have to go on. And then on day of launch, we would have to launch it. And you hope everything at this moment is done exactly the way we described it. Then 10 days into the project, we should already have 10, 15, 20% of the keywords out of the 30 or 40 or 50 keywords that we're working on. And remember, we're hoping that we highlighted the top keywords, the most important ones, like Memphis plumber, Memphis air conditioning repair without Memphis. We got to have all the top keywords. And those are the ones that we're focusing on. They've got to move the needle. If the needle isn't moved, I don't get paid. So I offer a 30-day trial, but I'm hoping that you can just be a live participant with the process, and that you're already paying me by day 30. So then it's on a retainer model. And I'm hoping that we can go on 2 or 3 more months that way, because it's going to take that much time to stabilize the strategy. I mean, I can't do all the work. I can't meet all my goals in the first 30 days. But if I lay that out and strategically give you give you the estimations. Estimation first month, this is what we're going to do. Estimation second month, this is what we're going to do. By day 90, the honeymoon's over. We're needing to add more keywords. We need to do this. We need to do that. Let's delete those keywords. Let's, all those things can happen. That's the thing about you as a digital marketer. You want a vendor that you work with that's flexible, that works with you, so you feel as though you're in power and you're in control, because I'm just doing a job. SEO means get me there. And wouldn't you want your vendor to put your money where their mouth is, to make sure that your top keywords on the first page of Google before you hire him? If he said he was going to do that. So that's the contracts I get into. It's a handshake, Let's get started and let me show you, because hopefully you get to try it out. You like me. You want to stick, you want to stick to the plan. You don't want to move the goal. I don't want to work with you if you're going to change the goalpost for me, like change the rules around. Oh, we can't hire you because you only got 19% of the keywords, not 20. And we're going to have to, try you out another 30 more days. I want to be flexible. I want to work on, with you as, you're going to give me a fair chance to earn your business. And, but right now, that's what I've been doing for the last 12 years, giving every website a chance to get to the first page of Google first. Try it out for 30 days, like you would buy a car. You get to try out a car before you buy it. You kick the tires or kick it to the curb. With me as a vendor, you're the SEO company. Hire me to try it out. See if you like what's under the hood. If you do, keep me. I want to be the opportunity to work with you so you're profitable. If you're not profitable, then, I don't want to work on that website. I only want to make you money. That's the whole goal.
Makes sense. Do you only work with local, or could you work with, for example, I run a company. I'm hearing an echo, by the way, of my voice. Is it coming from you or me, maybe? So my company is basically, we do PR and we do personal branding, right? Like we help people become the go-to experts within their particular industry. And we do that by by highlighting them different ways. We get them mentioned in big name publications. So let's just say I came to you and say, hey, you know, Joe or Mark, I want to get in, you know, I want to rank for the word personal branding. I want to be the first result in Google. Is that a result that you can attain?
You know, I have a rule of thumb
Mm-hmm.
to work on all websites that deserve to be on the first page of Google. And you definitely described to me a website by the way you described your keyword. If somebody were to actually type in and search it, whether they're on their mobile device or on their keyboard. But guess what? I have a rule of thumb that I only want to work on websites
Mm-hmm.
that deserve to be on the first page of Google, that you're profitable by somebody paying you money to be on the first page of Google.
Mm.
So that basically takes me out of context
Mm-hmm.
to website because they want more leads, or they want to build up their subscription level, or they want to get more advertisers on their website.
Mm.
If I stick to that rule, I go into relationships and contract agreements that are always win-win. Whenever I found that if I worked on your website, the only way I would be able to want to work on your website is if you were already giving me a Joe the plumber, we had a relationship going, that was supplemental income, you were making money, we had a good relationship. I would never want to do that as our first project, because it's just a rule of thumb that it's going to be somewhere along the way that you're just looking to get some social proof, or you're looking for something. So if I stick to my rule of thumb, every relationship that I ever go into is going to always be a win-win situation.
Makes sense.
So we need a way to put that on the table, and then hire me after you give me one of your Joe the plumbers first.
Got it.
And then we'll be able to work on you.
Fair enough. Okay, gotcha. So you work primarily with local businesses who are, you know, who have the SEO agency as a client, and you would be basically the fulfillment person for that type of local SEO. Yeah. Got it. Fair enough, man. That's awesome.
Everybody loves a 30-day trial, and I just wanted to interact
I like it.
Though I do like to work with customers directly. If Joe the plumber were listening right now, I hope you are, Joe. Hire me. I'll get you to the first page of Google. I'll give you your 30-day trial. If you're a startup company and you have the best thing since sliced bread, and you've got seed money, and you're ready to get to the first page of Google, and you're thinking, you know, what do I do to get there? Hire somebody who will give you a 30-day trial. Hire somebody who will put their money where their mouth is, and that they will do the job, because you don't want to go into a contractual agreement with somebody who just keeps their fingers crossed and tells you they will, because you never know with somebody who's got their fingers crossed. Yeah. So I just want to let that out.
Yeah. No, that's a powerful model. And I like it, man. Even for the PR stuff that I do, we don't give a 30-day trial, but we do give a 90-day money back guarantee. It's like, we want people to feel comfortable working with us. And so if we can't get them into the publication of their choice, or they don't like the article that we do for them, we'll refund them. But I love your style. I mean, I think that's very bold for an SEO agency to be able to say, because me running one before, I'll tell you, I didn't do 30-day trials, you know? I mean, like, because I know how much work goes into developing one website. Like, I built my own personal sites. It took me about 6 years to get them to a point where they're getting like consistent search engine traffic now. But early on, you wouldn't imagine how much work I had to put in, but most importantly, how much time I spend doing stuff that I really shouldn't have been doing. You know, I should have been focusing on my business, which is well, at the time I did a lot of stuff with chess, and I did a lot of stuff with marketing and growth hacking and all this kind of good stuff. But really, I spent majority of my time, you know, like doing SEO for myself. And maybe it helped me because, I mean, again, I was in the SEO space and it made sense. But Joe the plumber can't afford to spend time doing SEO for himself. He has to run his business. And so it makes total sense that he, you know, if he's not comfortable doing it, he doesn't understand where to start, where to begin. And SEO is complex. I mean, I think it's way more complex than what a lot of people do today, like the Facebook ads and the customer journeys and things like that. I think those things definitely should be supplemented with SEO, but just understanding how to get search engine traffic that is evergreen, that's local, that's targeted, that, and target those buyer intent keywords. I don't know if that's something that we just kind of wake up one day and learn from reading a blog post. I do think there's years of expertise that go into it. But what I wanted to
Can
say
I
is I really do commend that you're so confident in your work that you're able to provide a 30-day free trial, 30-day money back guarantee for anybody who doesn't believe what you're saying. That's really interesting, Mark. So I've got a couple more last questions before we start wrapping this up. So
Can I say one thing?
Yeah,
Really
for sure.
fast?
Go for it.
Oh, the last contractual agreement that I got into with a digital marketer that wanted me to get them on the first page of Google was a marketer who was selling a system of LinkedIn lead generation. And
Okay.
why don't we just do a trade?
Mm-hmm.
And so he got to for LinkedIn lead generation in 30 days, and he's crushing it now. His business exploded, just like I want your business. I want your business to explode too. So we need to explore that. And the trade that I did with him, he did LinkedIn lead generation, and now that's been the best that's been the best thing for my business with digital marketers that follow me, and having that person who was like a ninja, and his website, I'm going to do a little plug. He was a ninja, LinkedInLeadNinja.com, and he did that for me. And in order to do that little trade, we could maybe talk about that.
Yeah, for sure. It's an open conversation we can certainly have. My last question to you is that you talked a little bit about, doing these kind of things and results and stuff like that, and like 30-day trials, etc. Who is your ideal client? Like who is it that you work with? Any sort of SEO agencies out there, digital marketing agencies, or are you looking for like mid-sized, small businesses, like large corporations? What's your ideal people that you like to work with?
Right. Well, I write one blog. You're gonna hate this answer, but I write one blog post a year. That's terrible for a content marketer, right? Everyone's cringing right now. And I give over 200 case studies on that one blog post per year. So if you look at 2017, you're going to see one blog post. If you look at 2018, you're going to see one blog post. And it's all the case studies that I have. And they identify, it breaks down into local, startup, and e-commerce. Those are the ideal websites that I want to work with, that I really want to get them to the first page of Google. Now, because I was telling you about LinkedIn, I have almost about 8,000 digital marketers following me on LinkedIn right now. Oh. And I have a couple of salesmen, commission salesmen that are calling those lists. And there isn't a day that goes by that I'm not on the phone 4 or 5 times with an SEO company. So ideally, I want to work with SEO companies and to explain to them that they can hire me for their gig. Because what my goal is that they fire their local in-house employees. Mm-hmm. They become scalable, because right now they're not scalable. They're using PBNs. Mostly, if I unpeel the onion, they're using private blog networks. And I don't want them to use those. They're spending enormous amount of resources on, I call really bad SEO. That's really bad for their clients. Yep. And I want them to hire me and fire their in-house guys who are wasting time at the water cooler, get rid of the people that they're using out overseas, and just go directly and hire the guy that's going to put their money where their mouth is. And I say to them, don't you want a vendor that will put up or shut up and do exactly what I tell you that's going to happen? Because it's all in the human intelligence of being the ability to identify which keywords are going to move the needle in 30 days is something that's completely foreign to a digital marketer, because they have marbles in their mouth. They're speaking like this, Rafi. And the reason they speak with marbles in their mouth is because they have to tell their clients all the reasons why they suck, why they can't get the job done. Mm-hmm. And if I can hear the sound of this, popping marbles, That means they can speak plainly and validate their clients. And they can tell their clients, listen, we're going to go bold this month. We're going to work on your keywords and we're going to get results because we've turned it around. We're a turnaround SEO company and we're going to go bold. And that's how I help grow SEO companies by being their fulfillment and work on their clients that deserve to be on the first page of Google. Get rid of the marbles out of their mouth so they can speak clearly and validate their clients, because all the client wants to hear is, how do you get me there? You're my expert. I only want to work with you. I don't want to leave you. I want you just to do the job that you were supposed to do, not give me a long excuse. You know, the worst words that a client wants to hear from their SEO company is we're working on it. We're working on it. What does that mean, Rafi? When you're the SEO company and your digital marketer says, oh yeah, we're working on it, and they've been telling you that for 3 months in a row, what does that mean to you when they keep telling you they're working on it? Mm-hmm. It means they're not doing anything. Yeah. They're just floating. They're just trying to get by so they can get to another paycheck month after month, and eventually the digital marketer is going to leave. Where did that client go? What happened to him? You know? And so people vote with their dollars. And if you're not top of your game and providing the best service, you're going to be missing those clients and you're going to go out of business. So that's the client I want to deal with, the drivers, the SEO companies that want to grow and be profitable, and they don't have to worry about the fulfillment because there's a trust relationship going on with their vendor, and the job is getting done. The reporting is getting done. The weekly reports, the monthly reports, all that goes into understanding the psyche of the client, because when you're the SEO company, you need to know what motivates that client to give them the chance to keep paying you money and pay you more. So that's the goal of hiring a vendor like myself, because I want you to be profitable. I want you to make more money this year in 2018. So yeah, I hope that explains your question. I don't know if it did.
That's a good deal. I think it's wonderful what you do. I think it's a unique concept. You know, the reason I brought you onto the show is because I don't know that many people in the SEO space, you know, that do SEO for SEO companies. I think that is a unique concept to begin with. And the fact that you can give a 30-day money-back guarantee on something like search engine optimization, which is, to me, is a very complex process, very long drawn, very and again, I'm not saying I did it correctly all my life. You know, it took me a long time to really understand SEO too. So I might have done a lot of, just like with the problem that you solved, that whole idea of hiring an expert is that so you don't have to go through the entire process of trying to figure out what works and what doesn't work. The expert already knows what works, and you can save yourself a ton of time and ton of money just by bypassing trial and error type of situations. Especially, you know, on the internet, things are changing every day it's changing. But anyway, I think it's very interesting, like the way you present yourself, how you guys work, you know, with the agencies, and who you work with, the 30-day money-back guarantee. You know, I looked at your website. Everything looks awesome. I really appreciate you sharing this model with our audience. I do think that there's a ton of SEO people that are out there. So first of all, I think there's two benefits of it. Number one benefit is that I like your model, because this is how SEO agencies should be, right? Like, they should be able to deliver value upfront without asking for a ton of stuff, you know, in the beginning. And they should stand behind what they say. You know, if they can't deliver it, then just don't sell it. And only sell things that you can deliver and put a time frame behind it and guarantee the results. You're doing that. So I like your model. And I do want to encourage other SEO companies out there, digital marketing companies, to you know, take on a model similar to what Mark is doing here. But most importantly, I do want to encourage SEO agencies that are struggling, because I work with a lot of them myself. You know, they come to me for features and for PR, and we deliver backlinks and things like that as well. But I encourage a lot of them to reach out to Mark as well to see what he has to offer, especially if you guys have clients that are local you know, businesses, and the task can be overwhelming. I'm sure Mark has some expertise that he can guide you with. Even if you don't necessarily work with Mark, you can still get some valuable tips from him on how he delivers what he delivers so quickly, so efficiently, and for so many people. I think that's very interesting. So Mark, thanks again for joining. Really appreciate it. If people want to reach out to you, what's the best way we can get in touch with you?
Great. Definitely get in touch with, Mark at SEO Game, emails this way. I want to tell you that even if we're never going to do business together, you and I, Rafi, or anyone else who's listening to this,
yeah,
I do free keyword research reports. So I take a look at any website. I spend sometimes hours, and I don't expect any payment at all, but I will review and look at any website that you consider deserves to be on the first page of Google and provide a one-page report. And if you're an SEO agency, I'll stick your logo on top of it. And so that way you can send it off to your client and it will look like it will come from you. And if you want to know the best thing about selling SEO, it's that one-page report has to tell a story, and the words need to be so important to that client that they literally just tell the story for itself. And it could be sold with that one-page report. So I'll do any keyword research, ranking analysis, and then we throw in competitors on that in that one-page report because it has to be simple enough so that Joe the plumber can understand it. So anyone want to reach out to me, email me at mark@seogame.com, and you can connect with me on SEO Game in LinkedIn or SEO Game on Facebook or SEO Game on Twitter, and that would probably be the best way to get a hold of me. Good
deal, man. Looking forward to playing the SEO Game with you in the future as well. Thanks so much for joining the show, Mark. Appreciate that.
Thanks, Rob. Appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
Bye. That was pretty cool. Still says it's live. I'm so sorry. I had 2 visitors, but so I think I bored them. I get long. There's times where I pretty interesting. There's times where I go, oh, and Lauren came in.